Hello, I'm Frank. Welcome to Bluebell Arts Derry. This is an introduction to creative storytelling. What exactly do I mean by that? Creative storytelling. Well, what I'll be doing over the next 4 videos is helping you to create a story that you yourself want to tell. Now, we all love being told stories or reading stories. But in order to tell a story ourselves, there are a couple of things that we need. Now, I might be sat here wearing a big cloak and a costume, but I don't really need that to tell a story. All that I really need, and all that you really need in order to tell a story, is imagination. Just to let your mind go and create a story that you want to tell. Now, what has to be in a story? Obviously, there has to be people, or animals, or creatures, or robots. It's really up to you who goes into your story. Now, the second thing that you have to know and you have to share in your story is once you decide what people or creatures or robots or animals are going to be in your story, is where are they? Where might they be in this story that you're going to tell? Where do they live? Where do they come from? Where are they at the start of your story? Where are they in the middle of your story? And where do they end up? Now that's very important, all of that. Who's in your story? Where are they? Do they move about from place to place in your story? But also, very important, is for you to decide, and only you can decide this, is what are the people or the animals or the creatures or the robots that are in your story going to do? What's their mission? What adventure will they have? This is an important part of the story too, because you have to decide, what will they do? Where will they go to? And on this journey through the story that you're telling, are there other people? Do other people or creatures or animals or robots come into your story to help the main people, the people that you start the story with? Do your characters, because that's what we call them, do the characters that you've created for your story, be they human or animal or robot or magical creature, do they need help in the story? These are all the decisions that you have to make. If they do need help, why? What do they need help with? Has something gone wrong? As they move through the story, has something happened? Is there a uh-oh moment where something strange or something wonderful happens? But that moment that makes them go, uh-oh, or oh no, these are what make stories interesting. So we have to decide then, who is in your story? What are they going to do in your story? What will happen? Will something happen that they will need help? Who can help them? How do they get the help? If there's a problem, if something has gone wrong, how will they mend it? How will they fix it? How will they solve the problem? Then, of course, you have to decide about how does your story end? Because all stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But it's your story. You make all the decisions. And sometimes when we try to decide or think about who we want to put into our story, we have to do things to get our imagination working. Sometimes it helps to dress up, put something else on. Maybe you want your story to be about something magical. So a big cape can help, but it can also help if you want it to be about something horrible or mysterious. Why is he doing that with his cape, you might ask? I have no idea. It's your story. But the most important thing, and what we'll concentrate on today, is people in stories. Who do you want to go into your story? Is it a real person? Is it someone that you have dreamt up yourself? Is it a relation of yours that you're going to put in the story and have things happen to? Have them go on a journey? Have them on an adventure? Or is it you and other people you know? Where would they be at the beginning of your story? And why would these people or creatures or beings or robots or fairies or gremlins or goblins or vampires or doctors or teachers When you think about the people, or the beings, or the creatures, or the robots that you want to put into your story, try to think as much as you can about each one and describe them as best you can. Describe what each of them look like. Describe what each of them sound like. Describe what might be around them. Are they outside? Are they in a house or another kind of building? Who else is with them? Describe what they look like. Describe what they sound like. Describe what they do. It might be a teacher or a dancer, a football player, a mad scientist. Could be anybody, really. Are they at the beginning of your story? Are they way back in time? Is your story set 10, 20, 50, 100, or 1,000 years ago? What might your characters have been doing then, the people in your story? Or maybe your story's set in the future. Maybe it's set 10 or 20 or 100 or 1,000 years into the future, where things that we can only imagine have happened, have come to pass. What might it be like then in the future? Or perhaps your story is just set right here and right now. All of these things will mean something to the people that you put into your story. Now, like I said, characters are the people that you put into stories. And when you've decided who you want to put into your stories, you have to decide when in the story do they appear. Are they all there at the beginning? Or is there only one person or a couple of people, creatures or robots or whatever, or magic animals? Are they all there at the start of the story? Or is there only one or two or more when your story begins? Do others come into the story later? It's up to you to decide. But one of the other things that I find are very helpful when thinking about stories to tell are images. Sometimes our imagination needs a little bit of help. So if you have photos or drawings or old magazines or books with pictures, maybe having a little look at some of those images will kickstart your imagination, will give you an idea for the characters that you want to put in to the story. But write them all down. Get a pen or a pencil, paper, and take a page for each character that you want to put in to your story. Now, throughout this video, you might have noticed various images popping up from time to time. These are just images I took pictures of today. Just by walking around the house or having a quick look through old pictures on the internet or in computer files on my laptop or old photographs. These are quite often good things to use to fire up the imagination, to get us thinking about the people that we might want to put into a story. Like I say, today I just want you to think about the people, the creatures, the animals, the androids, the robots, whatever. We refer to them as characters. I just want you to think about the characters that you want to put into your story. And just as a little exercise, once you've thought of some characters, a simple thing you could do before you tell your own story, well, maybe this is it, is replace Goldilocks and the Three Bears with one of your characters and three other kind of creatures, and tell that story to your mum or your dad or your granny or your sisters or your brothers or your pals. But don't put beds or porridge into it at all. In the next video, we'll be talking more about place, because the 4 things that we want to do in the 4 videos is have really good characters or people in our story. We want to decide on a place or places where the story might happen. Then we want to decide on a plot. A plot is the various things that happen on the journey or the mission or the adventure of the story you tell. And finally, we'll look at the different ways of being able to tell a story. Do you want to write it all down? It's important that you do that anyway. Write as much of it down so that you can start to remember it. But when you come to telling the story, do you want to record it, perhaps on video? Do you want to just record your voice reading your story? Perhaps you want to do it as a comic strip, different panels showing different parts of the story. It's really up to you. But like I say, we'll get to those other parts. For now, I want you to concentrate and think about who is going in to your story. If you have any questions that you want to ask, you can put it in the comments under this video on the Bluebell Arts Derry YouTube channel, or you can email me, Frank, at bluebellartsproject@hotmail.com, and I'll get back to you. That's a promise. The best way to watch this video is take your time. Watch it through once. Then, if you're not sure about what was said, go back, rewind, replay, and listen again. And you can stop and start it as many times as you like. It's yours now. You might even want to use some of the images that I have scattered through this video to help with your story. That's all for now. I'll see you next week.